at the end of time.
O'clock.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Wednesday night, time once again for another show, another true crime one. A couple of y'all said that you don't know anything about this. Oddly, I don't know how I didn't hear about this fucking case. I don't remember which of you guys recommended it, but this was a good recommendation. Like I said, I don't know how I didn't hear about this, because it's not that, I mean, it's pretty recent, fairly recent. It happened in 2016. Well, this is a crazy fucking story.
Is it just me, or the color, the camera go back to normal?
No, it didn't.
It didn't go back to normal?
It's still fucked up.
See, I broke it.
You broke it.
I'm going to buy a new camera.
But
I mean, I
turned that light off.
Yeah.
And it still looks fucked
That's
up.
a shitty camera anyway.
I mean, it's worked good for like a long time though.
Man,
it wasn't expensive.
I look at our shows on that big television, and it just looks grainy as shit.
Well,
and that's supposed to be an HD camera, but it doesn't deliver.
Well, one of these, like I said, it was cheap.
Yeah.
So what are you?
I'm gonna get a better one.
What are you gonna do?
I mean, they got webcams out there that are $1,000. We're not gonna go that far, but maybe I get like a $300 or $400 one, something like that. We'll see what they have.
Jeez, I can't afford that shit. So if you want to do that,
yeah. If y'all have a good suggestion for a camera, go ahead and drop it in the comment section.
Yeah, I mean that's just like a $40 one that I
that's a
got
cheap
on Amazon
camera.
or something.
Yeah, a long time ago too.
A long time ago. It's like I said, it's actually lasted a long time.
Yeah, most of the show's been done with that camera.
It's decent enough.
I think all the show is done with this camera, isn't it?
You know, nobody needs to see my ass in HD. You don't need to see every fucking pore.
Well, it's not that. It's not that. You know, you can control it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can control it. You can do it in 1080.
Yeah.
It doesn't look 1080 on my TV.
Phantom said that everybody in the photos there on the thumbnail looks like they could be on Jerry Springer.
They're all dead.
Now, well, yeah, those are all the victims.
Yeah.
But I will say in the context, I was gonna say you're not wrong, but I'm not really sure. This is a shit show all around. This happened like in super rural Ohio, and looking at the kind of compounds they were living on and all kind of the stuff that was going on, I'm just like, it does kind of seem like Jerry Springer fodder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am going to say that. But like I said, the victims didn't fucking deserve any of this. Like what happened to them, it's fucking horrible. And I said, it's one of those things where, because I was telling Tom, I said, how sometimes we'll see some of those true crime cases, like true crime shows that I love, and like some dude will be like, well, I didn't want to divorce my wife because she would take half my money, so instead I decided to kill her and her whole family. You know what I mean? I was like, this is that level of overreaction to something that's relatively not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. Zach is saying he has a horrible virus, norovirus.
Shouldn't be
Stuck to the toilet.
Need to stop fucking around in those fucking gay bathhouses, man.
Shit's going
That's
around.
where all those damn
Shit's
viruses
going around,
are living.
though. I mean, you can't really go anywhere.
Getting in that damn steam room.
Everyone has cooties.
Getting in that steam room with those dirty men.
Yeah, the dirty men who don't wash their asses.
Yeah, and don't wash their asses. They don't fucking shave. They don't shave their fucking crotch or their nuts and shit.
Yeah.
Fucking, they're all uncut and shit. Fucking dick cheese.
Dick cheese.
Stinky motherfuckers. I heard all about it. Me and Jen watched a documentary of these two high-end escorts in Europe, and they were just talking about how nasty, how dirty dudes were.
Well, yeah, and like I said,
dirty.
I've been like lucky in that regard. Like
Yeah.
I said, I don't have a huge body count or anything, but I've never really encountered anyone that I was like offended by or anything.
Yeah.
But from talking to other women and in real life and online, apparently it's a very, very, very common problem that a lot of dudes don't wash their junk or don't wash their asshole.
Yeah.
So you kind of get down there and you're like, oh, bro.
I was raised right. Army fucking raised me right. Military school, too.
Tom is very clean.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm commando. Y'all don't know what going commando is. You think it's just fucking your underwear is off. No, you're also totally shaved. You're like a porn star.
Yeah.
You might have a front patch, but everything is shaved because if you're in the field, man, and you're in infantry, you're hiking basically. you're just sweating constantly. And if you have any hair in there, it'll just chafe. Fucking underwear will just catch everything. So you shave everything. You don't wear any underwear.
Yeah,
You just wear your fucking pants. Big old battle dress uniform. So it breathes real well, you know. Just let all the sweat drip down your leg as you're fucking, because you're drenched in sweat. And that's where that word came from, going commando. Because commandos did that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly,
they're not going to give you enough toilet paper. An MRE only comes with just like a couple of sheets of toilet paper. All right.
Here, everyone's.
Yeah. All right.
You have to reuse it.
You can't really have any hair, or you'll never get yourself clean. Now, what they do is the MRE is fucking, the way it's formulated, everything just kind of slides out of you into a greasy brick, just boom. Nothing, you know what I mean? So it's pretty clean in itself, but still, hair would just complicate everything. So we just shaved all our hair.
I don't know why everyone just doesn't do that, because, like, well, I mean, I grew up in Florida, so it's like you kind of just shaved everything off. Otherwise, you were sweating your balls off all the time. So.
Yeah, you know, and fucking growing up watching porn.
Getting swamp ass.
Growing up watching porn, all the dudes look like me. I thought all the guys were like that. But no.
No, it's pretty uncommon.
Yeah.
I think it's more common now than it used to be, because it is, like, generally a lot cleaner and less stinky. But, you know, I know it's a pain in the ass, but women have been doing that forever. So suck it up. You know what I mean?
Just shave in the shower. Take the razor in the shower.
Suck it up.
Better learn how to fucking squat down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes 2 seconds once you get good at it.
High Desert said, I don't like steam rooms. They're usually full of mold.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go in them. And it's like I said, we live in Florida. You can just go outside and experience the same thing.
Yeah.
You don't even need to pay for a sauna or anything like that. Just walk out the door and get like, yeah, I'm good.
Oppressive heat at 100%.
Although today it's actually,
it was cold today.
I don't think it got above 45 today. I was like super jacked about it.
It was cold and rainy today.
And even though it was freezing cold last night, guess what? I still had the fan blowing on my face.
Yeah.
Because I can't sleep without that fan blowing on my face. Even if it's freezing cold outside.
It's like something out of London, England out there right now.
Yeah.
It's cold and rainy.
It's cold and rainy today. I like that, though.
It's unusual here.
It is kind of unusual. Yeah. Zach said I actually have a sore throat from how much I was puking. Man, that sucks. I don't think I've ever been... I've been sick before. I've had, like, food poisoning and stuff like that, but I've never been that.
It's all that man-on-man action, man. You're spreading these diseases to each other. Next thing you know, you can get that monkeypox.
Don't wish that on
you better
anybody.
start using a dental dam. Better put fucking condom on that shit.
Yeah, well.
Yeah,
Jeff Yard said, yeah, it's snowing in northern Florida. I love it. Yeah, we saw that last night. It was snowing in Pensacola.
Snow in Florida.
Which is like up in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
It does snow here.
It snows here.
I have seen snow here before, once when I was a kid, but it doesn't stay on the ground.
It did, though, in 2009, winter of 2009.
Kinda.
I just moved here and it fucking snowed. We went
think
down to
I
Mount Dora. Mount Dora was fucking looked like...
Okay, I was still in Daytona then.
Okay,
it didn't stay on the ground there.
I was down
in Central Florida, it did.
It's
slightly
stuck.
colder.
It was stuck. It's stuck on the fucking...
Because in Ocala, it snows sometimes.
Stuck on all the roofs and everything.
Yeah.
And they had all the Christmas lights out. And people were walking around like in a winter wonderland. They were pretending like they were in Boston.
Yeah, like everybody's freaking out.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in Florida, like if you go to Disney or something like that, at Christmas time, they do fake snow.
Yeah.
Because Floridians have never seen it. So it's like they know how excited you get when they fucking blow fake snow all over everything.
Yeah, and Mount Dora is it's old. It's been there for hundreds of years. It was a British town. So it looks like New England. The architecture, the old stuff.
Yeah, some of the buildings down there actually even kind of look New Orleans-y.
Yeah, there's a French accent
with the wrought iron balconies and stuff.
Some of it's kind of French looking.
It's actually cool down. It's tiny, but it's cool down there. They got some really good like restaurants.
Yeah, it's a lot of tourists go down there.
We eat down there like all the time.
Good restaurants.
They're kind of known for antiquing. A lot of people go antiquing down there too. But
they got a British restaurant in there too.
Yeah, the Magical Meat Boutique.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And I'm not joking. That's what it's called.
It's pretty good. It was authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got the fish and chips. Every time I go, I just get the fish and chips.
No, I've got a couple things there, and it was exactly the same.
Okay.
Well, it's owned by British people, so
yeah,
they're doing it right. But we usually go to the Thai restaurant down there. That's our favorite one.
Yeah.
There's an Indian restaurant too, but it's okay, but it's not as good as some of the other ones. You know what I mean? Yeah. CB said, "Why do women think men only need one bit of toilet paper to wipe? We need half the fucking roll." Yeah, I kind of feel like, yeah, you do need most of the roll. Let me see. Yeah, Tammy said it was only 4 degrees where they were this morning. So, you know, I like it, but, you know, In a month or two, it's gonna be 90 fucking degrees again. So
I'm ready. I don't care.
I'm enjoying it while I can enjoy it before it gets into swamp ass territory again. All right. So this fucking story right here, like I said, please forgive me. I don't remember who it was that recommended it, but thank you for recommending it because I didn't know anything about this. And apparently, and this was a big deal. It was like national news. Like I looked on YouTube and like fucking Court TV has like 40 bajillion videos about this. So, because this is a crazy story. So this happened in April of 2016, and just a little bit of a summary. At first, I don't want to spoil anything if you don't really like know what happened, because I'm always kind of interested to dole out the facts because I want to see what Tom's theories about it are, because I know what happened, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I want to see if you like get it right.
Okay.
But yeah. So basically, what it was 8 members of a single family across 3 generations. Across 4 residences. Like 3 of them were kind of on the same property. They were trailers, I mean, essentially. But they were like, there's one here, one here, one here. And then there was another one, I think like a couple miles away, like in the next town over. But they were all from the same family. And all of them were essentially executed.
And it's 3 generations?
Yes.
The North Korean did it. North Koreans did. The North Koreans, if you fucking betray the state, they punish 3 generations of the family. So you, your parents, and your children, or you, your parents and your grandparents.
Spoiler
or
alert,
you,
it was not the North Koreans.
Okay, it was not the North Koreans?
No.
All right.
It was not the North Koreans.
It's a good idea, though.
I mean, I feel like that's not a very plausible scenario in rural Ohio.
They betrayed the emperor. Kim Jong-un got pissed off.
And he sent somebody over to, like, buttfuck Ohio.
Yeah.
To, like, wipe out.
Mm-hmm.
And here, the most fucked up part about it is that there were also 3 children, like one of whom was a toddler, I think he was 3, and then the other 2 were babies. Like one was 6 months old and one was 4 days old.
Damn.
The children were unharmed, but the 4-day-old baby was in bed next to the mom who got executed.
But was alive?
Blood all over. Yeah, like the kids survived.
Okay.
So the kids were
How
not
were they killed?
targeted. Shot.
Okay.
Most of them were shot in the head.
Pistol caliber?
I have it written down farther down in the notes. It was actually 3 different firearms.
Okay.
Which I'll get to when I get to that point.
And it was all on the same day, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Odd.
I mean,
I would think this was done by one person. But 3 different weapons hints that there might be 3 different people. But no, it's one guy using different weapons each time. It's got to be. How do you get 3 people together on some shit like this?
Oh, just wait.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Just wait.
All right.
That's what I mean. This is a crazy story. So yeah. So where this happened was a place called Pike County, Ohio. Like I said, it's very, very rural. These are like I said, like trailers out in kind of the middle of nowhere. I think the closest town is called Peebles. I've never been to Ohio, so I don't really know. But this place where it happened is about 50 miles from Columbus, Ohio, like a big city, and about 60 miles from Cincinnati. But it's just like kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So 8 of the victims were adults, and one of them was a 16-year-old boy. However, like I said, there were 3 children at the scene. The children were spared. But, yeah, so it's still kind of super messed up. And like I said, this seemed like a very targeted attack. You know what I mean? Law enforcement noted that right away. That obviously someone was targeting this family for whatever reason. So, like I said, I don't want to give too much away. So let's kind of get this little story started here. So April 22nd of 2016. The first 2 bodies are discovered in one of the residences. A woman named Bobby Jo Manley, who was the sister of one of the victims. She actually came to feed the animals, like at their, so because she was a family member, they all lived close together. This was like, an extended clan out in rural Ohio. So she came over to kind of feed the dogs and the chickens and all that kind of stuff. And then she goes in the house and she sees 2 dead people. They've clearly been shot. She basically, they have the 911 call like on the documentary, and she's basically like, there's blood everywhere. And she could tell like right away that they were both dead. So she calls 911 and the cops come out there. Now, before the cops got there, Bobby Joe got worried about the family members in the next trailer over, which it was hard to tell because like there was drone shots of it, but like it was, it was right there. It was like walking distance, you know what I mean? So she kind of got worried, obviously, as you would. And so she went to the next trailer and found 2 more bodies on the second property. At this point, her brother, his name was James, goes to check on Bobby Joe's sister, Dana. And at this point, they go into a third trailer and then found 3 more bodies. So, obviously, the cops are showing up. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. This is like a whole bunch of like family members that have all been essentially assassinated, right? And then, a little bit later, because this happened kind of early in the morning, like a little before 8 in the morning. But then they found out, like about 1:30 in the afternoon, there was another 911 call and said that they had found another member of this family, the 8th victim, at a 4th residence in Piketon, which was like the next town over. So this is 8 members of the same family have all been wiped out over one night, presumably, because like I said, the bodies were discovered fairly early in the morning, so you're assuming it took place like overnight sometime. So as I mentioned earlier, there were 3 young children. There was a 3-year-old toddler, a 6-month-old baby, and a 4-day-old baby. They were all unharmed, but the 4-day-old was found in bed next to her mother's body, covered in blood. I think the other 2 kids also were covered in blood because they're, the people were just fucking shot. So the weapons you were asking about. There were 3 weapons involved. One of them was an SKS semi-automatic rifle.
Cheap.
One of them was a .40 caliber Glock.
Okay.
Semi-automatic pistol. And the other one was a Walther Colt 1911 .22.
A what?
Caliber.
A Walther?
Walther Colt.
Walther Colt.
That's what it said. 1911. Unless they got that wrong.
They got that wrong. Walther and Colt. Well, I don't know of any joint venture between Walther and Colt.
Yeah.
Smith & Wesson and Walther.
Maybe.
With the SW99, and the fucking P99, which I got a P99. Fucking great pistol. Ended up becoming a Canic later on. Also a good pistol, but it's a copy of a Walther. So I don't know what pistol they're talking about. There is a Walther 22. That's pretty nice. What year did you say this was again?
2016.
2016 is so recent, yeah.
April
They may be talking about something. They may be talking. They may be talking. I don't know, man. That's just a Colt Walther.
Yeah,
22.
I mean, look it up. That might be wrong. I just, like I said,
never heard of this, man.
That was just in my notes, and I just copied it down.
Oh, no,
so.
I'm not doubting you. I'm doubting them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if there's something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have fucked it up because I don't know. I don't know one or the other. I just like fucking wrote it down. You know what I mean?
You couldn't have made that up or fucked that up. That's what they told you, and I'm just like, wait, what? Colt Walther or Walther Colt?
Walther is first, yeah.
Walter.
Papa says, "What are you drinking tonight, Jenny?" This is actually like a Arnold Palmer, but it's like tea and lemonade with vodka in it, is what it is.
Okay, yeah. Walther Arms makes a Colt 1911 A1 12-round fucking 22 pistol.
That's what this was then.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know about this.
So I didn't fuck it up.
It's a Colt 1911 A1, which is a copy of a Colt. Walther evidently made a copy of a Colt. I didn't know about that.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't even think about it. I just wrote it down, what they said.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I knew you would ask.
I'm looking at it. It looks just like a Colt Gold Cup with a fucking pick rail underneath the bottom of it. It looks high quality.
Yeah.
But you know, that's a big pistol for such a small round. But expensive. So, higher end, actually.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that one.
I had not either.
Yeah. So, you were correct. And they were correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just wrote down what somebody told
Okay.
me, so I didn't know one way or the other.
The SKS is common.
Yeah, I'd heard of that before.
Yeah,
and obviously I know what a Glock is.
It
but,
was
you know.
what the Soviet Empire was using before the AK-47. 10-round fixed box magazines, stripper clip fed. Some of them were converted later on to take AK mags, but an AK is better. But there were a while where you could get SKS Norinkos for $250 back in the 80s. They just weren't really worth anything. Now I think there might be a collector's item now because people like them. But you know, it depends on who made it and how old it is. That really, because a lot of people, a lot of companies, Eastern Bloc countries made those, and they all had different values.
Sean Brinkley says, "Hi guys, have you all done a video on the G family massacre?" I don't think we have now. It's similar to this case. I did write it down though, so I'll put it in one of our polls. So we can maybe do a show about it in the future, because I don't think I've heard about that. We've done a couple of family massacre shows, but I don't think we've done that one. So all of the victims and how they were related to each other. So the youngest victim was Christopher Rhoden Jr., who was 16. And he was the son of Dana, who was Bobby Joe's sister. It's very complicated, all the family relations. And a dude named Christopher Rhoden Sr., who was also one of the victims. He was 40 years old. And him and Dana had divorced, but they still lived in the vicinity. Also killed was Clarence Rhoden, known as Frankie, who was 20 years old. That was their eldest son, so Christopher Rhoden Jr.'s brother. Dana Rhoden, who was 37. She was the ex-wife of Christopher Rhoden Sr. and the mother of a couple of the boys. Then there was Gary Rhoden, who was 38. He was Christopher Sr.'s cousin. Then there was Hanna Mae Rhoden, who was 19. She was Dana and Christopher Rhoden's daughter. And she was the mother of the 4-day-old baby. She also had a 4-year-old daughter named Sophie or Sophia, who was not there. She was with her dad. We also have Hannah Hazel Gilley, who was 20, who was the fiancée of Clarence Rhoden, another one of the victims, and Kenneth Rhoden, who was 44, who was the brother of Christopher Rhoden Sr. So these are all members of the same family that all lived in this kind of, it was, like I said, I don't want to call it a compound, but it was like a bunch of trailers. You know, it had it was your typical rural trailer family compound. There's old rusted out cars and refrigerators in the yard, and it was all that kind of thing, you know what I mean? It was all that kind of appearance. So they take all obviously the cops have never seen anything like this. They're just what the actual fuck is going on here? So they take all the bodies, all of them, all but one of them were shot multiple times. 4 of the victims were shot either once, twice, or 3 times. And then one of them had 9 gunshot wounds.
Now, the people that were shot, were they all shot with the same caliber, each one of them?
I don't think so.
So that means it was mix and match. It was more than one shooter.
Well, that's what
everybody.
They pretty much knew that.
Okay.
They knew that it was at least 2 shooters.
At least 2. Okay.
They were operating on that assumption from the beginning because of shell casings found at the scene, etc.
There were 3 weapons, but it must have been 2 shooters probably, because what they mean is that there was probably never more than 2 different kinds of ammunition went through that person.
Yeah.
If there were 3 different kinds of ammunition, that knows you're 3 shooters, because the weapons described are all very different calibers: 22, 40, and 7.62 by 39 Soviet. It's a rifle cartridge, intermediate rifle cartridge. They all do very different things, and you would not mistake one for the other. So they're saying no more than 2 shooters. That means that there's the bodies that had multiple bullet holes from different weapons was always no more than 2 calibers. No more than 2 different calibers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If you found a person that had all 3 of those rounds in them, you know that there's 3 shooters, because you can't hold a rifle and a pistol, or 2 pistols, all that shit you see on TV. That's not practical. Everybody's got one weapon. All right. Then they switched up on one of the attacks for some reason.
Yeah, Christopher Rhoden Sr. seemed to get the most of the gunshots. He was actually, most of the victims were just shot in the head.
Yeah.
He had shots in the head, but also in his like arms and his torso.
Yeah.
And Dana was shot in the head, but also in the neck. Some of the victims also had bruising, as though they had been beaten
up,
as
yeah.
well. And as far as I am aware, all of them were shot in their beds while they were sleeping.
Chances are the guy with the SKS rifle had the 22 Colt, because SKS is a powerful main weapon. So you're going to mostly use that. If you need to use a pistol shot, you had a little weak 22 to maybe knock off or kill a person who's already dying anyway. The other guy's got the most powerful weapon he can carry out of the three would be a 40. So it's probably mostly 40 and 7.62, and then every now and then probably 22. That's what I'm predicting. Probably what they're thinking is. We'll see.
Yeah, so from the beginning, from looking at the crime scene, as I mentioned, authorities were quite certain that there was at least 2 shooters. 3 of the trailers where the bulk of the victims were within walking distance of one another. As I said, the other one was actually 8 miles away. I think I mistakenly said it was closer than it was, but it was actually 8 miles away, like next town over. Now, the first thing they thought was murder-suicide, but then they thought that for like 5 minutes, and they're like, nah, that couldn't have fucking happened. Like, just the way it was laid out, they're like, yeah, that's not what happened. None of the victims appeared to be suicides, and that just didn't seem to like add up. And so then as they start looking at the crime scene even more, they're like, obviously this was a very premeditated and very sophisticated raid. Like, it was very targeted. And they said, which I'll get into a little bit later, that the killers actually took a great deal of effort in covering up, their tracks and like removing like whatever evidence and stuff like that. Obviously, they didn't do a great job because they did get caught in the end, but they did do a lot of shit like to keep them from getting caught. You know what I mean? So they thought about this for a long time. Obviously, this wasn't just like a random kind of thing. So they did, okay, so they got a bunch of search warrants because they're like, well, why? There has to be a reason that this family was targeted like this. Now, there was, they saw like some threats against the family that had been made on social media, things like that. Now, they also found out that the 3 trailers had a fairly substantial marijuana grow operation. A lot of the documentaries didn't really report this, but I saw it reported in some of the other news stories and stuff like that. They also had evidence that they were running a cockfighting ring. So there was that too, but like I said, it's not brought up as much. Usually the marijuana thing is brought up. I saw pictures of it. It looked like a pretty substantial marijuana grow operation, which is not unusual for that area. Like, a lot of people like grow marijuana like in a in kind of a large capacity, like for sale. Obviously, I'm not really sure about what the laws in Ohio are or what they were in 2016. I'm assuming it was illegal, hence why they made such a big deal about it. But yeah, they said they found a pretty substantial grow operation. Now, when they found that at 3 of the crime scenes, not the one that was 8 miles away, but the 3 that were together, the first thing they thought of was, drug related, it's like a cartel assassination. I mean, that's the first thing you would think, right? So that was kind of the angle that they were coming at it from, that they thought it was just a rival grow operation, or it was a Mexican cartel or something like that, because they're like, obviously they have this big like drug operation going, and that had to be like a factor in it, right? So that was kind of the first avenue that they were exploring.
If you ask me, it wouldn't be Mexican cartels. Not with those weapons. Those guys have much better weapons than those. Those are redneck weapons. Every one of the ones that they made. Rednecks.
Yeah.
And SKS is a big giveaway.
Yeah, and they said that it could have been like a rival local.
Yeah.
Because obviously this was a targeted operation, right?
Yeah.
They didn't just target these people at random. They weren't robbed or anything like that. Somebody just took these people out for some reason.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing they thought of. Well, maybe it was like some rival drug dealing gang or something like that. So there was that. And like I said, there was also a cockfighting thing, but they didn't really, there's not too much. I don't feel like there's a lot of gang rivalry and cockfighting, but I don't
Yeah,
know. Maybe there is. I don't really know. But they did say they found evidence of that as well. But you know what I mean. So there was that. Now, so another thing that they pretty much knew from the jump, not only, that there was at least 2 shooters, but they're like, obviously whoever did this knew this family and had a grudge against them for some reason. So to do that, to kind of like investigate further, they actually, this is how you can do. If you have a mobile home, they can actually just tow your whole ass house to the police facility to search it. You know what I mean? Like it was a car. Like you can't do that with a regular ass house, but with a mobile home you can. So that's what they did. They basically towed the whole mobile homes to. I don't think they did the 4th one, or there was some kind of tie up where they couldn't do that one. But like the 3 that were all together, they towed them all to so they could like preserve all the evidence and all this other kind of stuff to kind of go through there. Now, obviously, there's a couple little kids left alive. So they had to, and for a time, they're like, well, every other member of this family, the Rhoden family, is in danger. And I mean, they warned like all the other family members that lived in the area, you might want to like not go outside or like hide out or something like that. And they were worried for the children that were there that survived, you know what I mean? They're like, they might come back and get them, or other members of the family might be targeted. This might be a multi-day affair. We don't really know. So they did actually warn all the other members of the Rhoden family in the area, hey, you guys might want to like watch your back because, obviously this happened to your family members and we don't know if you're in any immediate danger because we don't know what the motive is. So they basically did that. Now, so as they kind of start asking around, some members of the community, it seemed like a lot of people were kind of maybe a little bit reluctant to talk to them, but because this is, like I said, rural Ohio, so everybody's like, they don't want to talk to law enforcement or whatever. But it sort of kind of started to come out that, that obviously the family is familiar with who did this or who might have done this to them. They brought in the FBI, they brought in the Department of Homeland Security, they brought in like everybody. They brought in the feds on this because it was like huge. This was actually, as far as I know, and I don't think it's been surpassed since then, but I think this is the largest investigation in Ohio's history. Like I said, it's an 8-person mass murder. Like somebody just wiped out most of a family. You know what I mean? So yeah, and they're basically like taking a hard line. They're like, look, if you know anything about this, you have to come forward or we're basically going to like arrest you like for obstructing or something like that. Like, especially if you're, they were trying to get information like any way they could. Now, as they started investigating, they brought in actually a SWAT team in May of 2017, and they raided a house about 10 miles from the murder site. Now, initially, I think people thought they were looking for suspects, but they said, no, we're just looking for evidence and not suspects. But one property that they did look at was actually, had been owned, but had recently been sold by a guy named Edward Wagner, better known as Jake. And Jake was the ex-boyfriend of one of the victims, Hanna Rhoden, and was also the father of her 3-year-old daughter, Sophia, who had been with her dad at the time of the shooting. So it starts to kind of leak out that maybe they're looking at this family. Now, the thing about the Jake Wagner, Hanna Rhoden situation was that Jake and Hanna got together when Jake was 17 or 18 and Hanna was 13. And apparently, the family said it was okay, but they had to be supervised.
Yeah.
I guess.
How the hell do you do that?
And I'm just kind of like...
How the hell do they do that?
I'm already like looking askance at this. I'm like,
how do you supervise
how
that?
fucking rural is this?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, okay? So it's just, yeah, 13 years old she was. So apparently, though, they weren't supervised closely enough because she got pregnant.
Of course.
At 15.
Okay.
And had Sophia. Yeah. So there was that. But then, like, they broke up later on for reasons which we'll get into, like, in a little bit. So authorities announce in June of 2017 that they are looking into Jake Wagner as a possible suspect. But not only Jake Wagner, they're also looking into both of his parents, his mom and his dad, Billy and Angela, and his brother, whose name is George. Now, they had lived in Ohio at the time of, I think, the Ohio, Kentucky kind of area. But they had moved to Alaska not too long after the murders occurred, which they thought was a little sus. So there were some other evidence that like led them to that, as you can, according to like the calibers of the shell casings and all that other kind of stuff. So they're kind of like, okay, well, we're looking into the Wagner family. So they started looking into their background as well. So what they ended up doing, it took a while, like as they went back and looked into their history and like looked at their social media, phone records, all that kind of stuff. But it took until November of 2018, but they actually did end up arresting Billy and Angela, the parents, and both of their sons, Jake and George. So all four of them got arrested and charged with planning the murders and carrying the murders out. Now, these were all obviously members of the same family, the Wagner family. Also, some of them last names were Newcomb, but it was like an extended family. They were from South Webster, Ohio. They also arrested Angela's mom, so I guess Jake's grandmother, Rita Newcomb. She was 65. And Billy's mom, Frederica. Now, they were charged with perjury and obstructing justice. They don't think they were there. They were just old ladies. But they think that they lied to investigators. And also, it should be noted that Rita Newcomb, who is Billy's or Angela's mom, was also arrested for forging custody documents because she was a notary. And it's kind of funny because if you see the there's like audio of like the interview with her, and they have her like the custody documents, and they know that she forged them, like that they're fake. And she's just, like, trying to get around it, like, any way she can get around it. But they know she did it.
You're right.
And she's just sitting there going, I wonder how that could, well, I don't know. I could, and it's just, like, really funny. It's like, look, they've got you. Just, like, stop it.
So,
now,
this is literally hillbilly clan warfare, like the Hetfields and McCoy.
I mean, yeah, and
basically.
You're not the first person to compare it to that.
Yeah.
So what it all came down to, like I said, there was nothing to do with drug cartel. It was nothing to do with their grow operation or the cockfighting or anything like that. It all came down to a custody dispute over that 4-year-old girl, Sophia, that Jake had with Hanna when Hanna was 15. That was what the whole thing was about. And she would not, like, here's the thing. Her and Jake had broken up, right? And she got another boyfriend like later on, and they had a baby. That was the 4-day-old baby that was in the bed with her when she was shot. And Jake apparently tried to get her to put his name on the birth certificate of that kid, even though he wasn't the dad. Now, according to everybody that knew members of the Wagner family, especially the patriarch, they were like super, super controlling, which is one of the reasons that Hanna wanted to get the fuck away from them, because they wanted to just like control every single thing that they did. And they were basically like trying to take her kid. You know what I mean? So there was that. And she had even, so that's what they were trying to like forge these custody papers and all this other kind of stuff, like saying that she couldn't like see her and all this other kind of shit. And they have like records, I think it was on Facebook, and it was like a DM or something, and where they were saying they were trying to force her to like sign these custody papers, basically saying that like giving, I don't know if they were trying to get her to give up custody or whatever it was, but she said, and this was 4 months before the murder happened, she said in the message, you know, I'm never signing those papers. They will have to kill me first. That's what she said. And she was only 19 years old, but she was like, I'm not having it. She wasn't having it. And that was like 4 months before the mass murder. So that's what this whole thing was over. Now, the crazy thing about this...
Her not signing.
Is her not giving up custody of that kid.
So they thought they would get custody if they killed him.
Which, like I said, is that the stupidest thing ever? This is just like one of those... It's just like one of those stories where like a dude is like, well, I don't want to divorce my wife because she'll take half my money, so I'm going to murder her instead.
And the kids.
I'm like, you know they're going to catch you, right? I mean...
Yeah.
Husband killing wife. It's like, that's the first person they're going to fucking look at. You're always the number one suspect, bro. I'm like, you're not going to get away with it.
I'll give a little bit of cultural background here, in case you're not from the United States. I'd call this like similar to the Hetfields and McCoys.
Yeah.
In the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, part of the 1800s, but mostly like from 15 to 1700s, there was a big wave of Celtic immigration into the United States. A lot of it forced. Britain was kind of like grabbing Irish people and Scottish people that they didn't like and sending them to America. It wasn't the United States then, and it was before the reforms that happened in Ireland and Scotland. Well, these people ended up in the South being called rednecks. In the North, they were called hillbillies, and they were Scots Irish clans. It's where the Ku Klux Klan is. They're referencing Scottish and Irish clans. A clan was just a family, and if you look at clan history in Ireland and Scotland, north of England, it's tribal. So these are tribal white people. Me and Jen are related to them. You know, we come from Scots Irish background. You know, with some German mixed in, maybe other things too, but. Redneck and hillbilly culture is, there's a real good historian named Thomas Sowell. He's a black guy, and he fucking tells the truth about American history. The way white people were, the way black people were, the way the system was. White people, rednecks, and hillbillies were violent, over-sexualized. They were wild. And, you know, and they had a lot of almost kind of like behaviors that came from the Middle Ages. They weren't real law-abiding. And that's what you see here. In some of these real rural areas, like, you know, me kind of coming up partially in Mississippi, you never really saw any police. Everything just was, it was peaceful, but everybody was like, you know, on their best behavior, you know. It was which is kind of, you know what I mean, kind of on their best behavior. And from this culture, actually, is where African American culture came from, because they were in the South and they came up side by side as, a lot of them left plantations and they ended up becoming subsistence farmers and sharecroppers along with rednecks. And a lot of black culture is actually redneck culture. It's country. You know, like soul food is country, is Southern food. We just grew up eating that in the Old South. So that's what you're talking about. You're talking about almost medieval European behaviors with this, fuck it, we're going to wipe that family out. Because they were doing that back in Scotland and Ireland, going back for thousands of years. And it's just kind of in their blood to be defiant. It's an honor-based society. Laws don't really matter too much. And, you know, and I got a lot of that growing up. So, yeah, this is, of course, fucking horrible. This is a fucking terrible misapplication of tribal warfare. But they were like that. They did shit like that. Yeah.
Funny. I know that it's not funny.
No, I mean, it's funny that they're that fucked up, but they are.
Yeah.
You know.
Like I said, it's just shooting yourself in the dick, really.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're going to get caught. It's like, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
It's like you're going to get caught and you're not going to get custody. The whole point was they wanted custody of that little girl.
Yeah. And you
And
would
so it's
think,
like, oh, let's wipe out an entire family. That'll help things.
And this wasn't 40 years ago. This is fucking 2016.
This is less than 10 years ago.
And they had internet connectivity by then. So you would think they would know better, because intelligence starts to skyrocket with the internet, because you have the knowledge of the entire, basically, and you have access to mankind's entire body of knowledge if you have the internet. If you go through AI programs, especially that Grok program off of fucking, I've asked that thing in very intricate questions about antique firearms, fighting, physical performance skills, and Grok comes back and fucking it says, I checked it to see, it comes back with the same kind of answers I would give. That's how good that AI is. AI is the shit. It could be a fantastic tutor, which I think that's what the future will be, actually. You won't need schools anymore. You just give a kid fucking AI, and that fucking computer teaches them. And but anyway, it's odd, very odd, that this happened in this era.
Yeah.
It ran deep in these people.
Clearly.
Yeah. Because this is fucking Scottish clan behavior. Fucking.
Papa says, remember, this is Ohio. They're not the brightest.
Yeah.
Yeah, evidently not. So yeah, we'll see. That was the thing. And there were, the Wagner family were kind of walking red flags, I want to say.
Yeah.
They were known for being outlaws, I guess is the word that they used on some of the documentaries that I saw. And as I said, they were just very controlling. And once that girl, Hanna, had that baby, actually when she was just pregnant, when she was 15, they immediately were trying to clamp down and like get control over her life. And he was already talking about, just and honestly, like Jake, reportedly was also, and probably this will come as no surprise to anyone, I'm sure, but was also like abusive toward her, threatened to kill her, said he would kill her, put her body where it will never be found, all this other kind of stuff, that he had like chased her around, strangled her, shit like that. So, obviously, because the two families, they had known each other for a long time. So like you said, it was kind of like a Hatfield and McCoy's situation where it was an intertwined family. Yeah. Mostly because of Jake and Hannah's relationship. So that's how the family got to know each other. I don't know if they knew each other before that. I think they lived in like a similar area, so they might have. But just in the sense that, rural community, everybody kind of knows everybody else. But, they had been close for a while. But after that happened, and after she broke up with him, and particularly after she got another boyfriend, like when she was, 18, 19 years old, then it seems like they completely lost their minds, trying to get hold of this little girl. Just trying to do anything they could to get her. Now, as I mentioned, they were trying to force her to, threatening her to sign these custody papers, and she basically messaged them. It wasn't in public, and I don't even think she was messaging the Wagners. I think she was messaging somebody else about it. And she was saying, I'm never signing those, like, they'll have to kill me first. But the thing about it was that she wasn't even messaging one of them. But they found out later that the Wagner family was monitoring a lot of the Rhoden family's social media and on, like, going into their email accounts and shit like that. I don't know if they were like fucking hackers or if they knew their password somehow or something like that, but they were going in and like reading their emails and like reading all their messages and stuff. They found out later on that they'd been doing that like for months and months. So, because they planned this for a long time.
Why did they care about that little girl that much? The little kid's grown before you know it.
I kind of feel like it was a control issue. Yeah. That's what most people are saying. It's just
psychopaths.
Yeah, they were just like kind of this, particularly the patriarch, as I said, was kind of like this very, very controlling. So I guess like, and I think he didn't like, maybe I'm just speculating because I know what this type of dude is like, but I don't think he liked that this girl was defying him. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's that's our kid. Like, that belongs to our family, and you're keeping it from us.
I guess.
And I think that they decided to wipe out the whole family because they didn't want that little girl growing up around dangerous people. As in people who are like, those
dangerous.
people
Those
are like,
dangerous. We're gonna save her. Yeah. Yeah, that's
those people are dangerous. Let's go wipe them all. Let's go execute them all.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
One of the things that happened, the Scots-Irish that were kicked out, basically kicked out of fucking, out of Ireland and Scotland by the British, tended to be ones that were troublemakers. You know, people that, they gave them a choice. You either go to the New World or you're going to prison. All right? Men and women. And the women, they were trying to get rid of them a lot of times because they were just hookers. So they give them a choice. You either can go to jail or fucking send you there. You know, not only were they hookers, they were usually thieves too. You know, so they ended up over here. Well, that meant that it was kind of like what was being selected for was people who were like psychopaths or sociopaths, and that's genetic. You know, there's some genetic predispositions toward that.
It largely is, yeah. Like, it can be fixed if they have, like an okay upbringing, but... So
a lot of the problems of ancient Ireland and ancient Scotland were kind of thrown into the New World, and one of the main things that was about them, which fucked Ireland and Scotland up, was that these motherfuckers just genetically had main character syndrome. They all thought that they should be king, so they sat there and just warred families trying to wipe each other out all the time. Well, that came here, and these people all have main character syndrome.
Yeah.
They think they're starring in this movie.
And everyone else is just
Everybody
NPC.
else is an NPC.
You're in the way of what I want.
Yeah.
And so all I have to do is just wipe you out, and then I'll get what I want.
Yeah.
That's clearly what these people thought. And it's like, as horrible as this case is, like 8 fucking people, including a 16-year-old boy, got shot in the head while they were sleeping. Yeah. They just went in and wiped them all out. 1 house, 2 house, 3 houses, and then they went 8 miles and went to the 4th house.
Yeah.
And wiped that dude out. And it's just kind of like, so they did all that, and then they had the audacity to come out and say, oh, well, we didn't want that little girl growing up around dangerous people. Motherfucker, you're the dangerous people.
Yeah.
Do you see that, or...
But they're the main characters.
Oh, my God. Just not having that lack of self-awareness, that just fucking kills me.
They're kind of like medium to high...
That kills me.
Medium to high functioning psychopaths.
Yeah. Obviously.
These would be medium functioning psychopaths. They can kind of survive in the world. But obviously not really. Look, high functioning psychopath can fucking become your boss. A mid-level functioning psychopath kind of does this. Low-level psychopath, he's in fucking prison by the time he's 18, you know.
Because he's just not right.
He can't handle it. He can't control himself.
No. But see, I mean, okay, so like most normal people, because people go through custody disputes all the time. Obviously, a lot of them turn ugly, but most of them don't. Like, even though a lot of them are contentious, and I understand it's a very emotional issue, that's your kid, you know, you're breaking up with your partner, this is your kid, you're going to fight about who gets the kid and all this other kind of stuff, but it's just kind of like most normal people would just try to come to some kind of compromise. You know what I mean? It's like, well, they'll live with me, but they can see you on the weekends, or whatever the fuck you come up with. You know what I mean? Unless the other person is just like, can't be trusted with children, and it's like, you know, you have to get a fucking court order or whatever. But it's just kind of like, most people work it out. Most people don't immediately jump to, we can't get custody of that kid, so we're gonna wipe out 8 people from the same family. I mean, that's crazy. And like I said, I don't know what they thought that it would accomplish. And it wasn't like it was a decision that was made just on the spur of the moment. They spent months planning this. Like, because they wanted to get away with it. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, they had ample time to be like, hey, you know, are we the baddies? You know what I mean? You know, are we doing something really, really horrible and irredeemable? Like, can we just stop for a second and think about this? They had months to do that, and they didn't do it. And there was a bunch of them involved. At least 4 of them. And more of them knew about it, but they didn't get charged because they didn't participate. You know what I mean? So yeah. So basically, as I said before, the Wagners had actually been monitoring somehow all the social media accounts and email and stuff like that of some of the members of the Rhoden family that they killed. Now, Jake Wagner, he actually at first said that his parents brought up to him, hey, we're going to kill Hanna. I think their first suggestion was they were just going to kill Hanna, the 19-year-old girl, the mom of Sophia. And he was like, nah, I don't really...
Maybe we go to next to kid.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't get it.
Yeah. Well, they just wanted their son Jake to have her, because that was her dad. You know what I mean? So, according to him, and I don't know if you can really trust anything any of these miscreants have to say, honestly.
Probably not.
But according to him, he said it was his parents' idea to kill her. And he didn't want to do it at first, but then, like, eventually they, I guess, convinced him. Like I said, I don't know if I believe that or not. So, and yeah, like I said, they eventually convinced him. It's like, we don't want him growing up around those people. It was that kind of situation. So, yeah, they planned this for 3 months. And there are actually, this is one of the things they got caught in, like, shit that they brought up in court, was that there's fucking CCTV footage of them, like, various family members, like, in Walmart, like, buying stuff for the raid. Like, they bought masks, they bought ammo, they bought a thing that would, like, jam phone signals, they bought brand new shoes of a style that wasn't what the guys would normally wear. So if they left footprints, it would, like, throw people off.
Yeah.
They bought that, and they actually had footage of one of the women, like, buying the shoes, and then she tried to, and they had the receipt, like, because they had Walmart, like, pull, I think it was Walmart, and they had Walmart pull the receipt, and then she tried to deny. She's like, oh yeah, I bought the shoes, but then I brought them home, and the boys didn't like them, so I threw them away. That's what she said. And they were like, no.
So they're not as smart as they thought they were, but they were trying to fucking cover their tracks.
They were totally trying to.
Yeah.
And they also...
They've been watching some true crime programs.
And they, like, fucked with their, like, security cameras, and, like, so they were thinking it was, like, a fucking commando raid.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it was a Mission Impossible kind of shit. I'm sure, like, that's how they thought of it. Like, 3 months they were doing this stuff.
Right.
Like, figuring out how they could, like, get away with it.
It is extremely... I'm going to tell you this, man. Fucking, I got training in military and in law enforcement stuff. It is extremely difficult to get away with a homicide, a planned homicide of a person you're connected to.
Yeah.
Because you're going to
get to you eventually.
It's very hard. Very hard. Best way to do it is to have state sanctioning. In other words, the state tells you to kill this person. That's what military and contractors and shit do, okay? The other way is killing somebody who has no connection to you. All right. That's how a lot of serial killers get away with it.
Yeah, like a lot of, like, truck driver serial killers and stuff like that. Could they just pick up random people and murder them and then dump them in another state or something like that, and there's no connection between them and the victim.
And that's
why they don't get caught.
And I'm not talking about paid assassins. Paid assassins? No, there's a connection. Because the person that hired you is the one that's going to down you. Oh, sorry. Matter of fact, if you look at the history of people that have done contracts, murder for hire, usually the person that's hiring you to go kill someone else, he plans to kill you when you're done, to try to erase the connection between him and you, the assassin. So no, if there's any kind of connection, there's a very likely that they will catch you. And when you think about it, most of the time when you actually read or listen to these cases of homicide, a lot of times the person that did it fucking didn't have to do it. It was kind of like a waste of time. It was self-defeating. Like they'll spend all this time trying to kill some person, and really they don't gain anything from killing that person other than some kind of emotional thing, you know. And then they say, well, I don't want to pay her my alimony, or, you know, I'm not going to pay for that kid, shit like that. It's better to pay for that kid than to fucking spend the rest of your life in prison or to get executed over it, you know. You gotta, but your chances of getting away with the first degree murder of a person that you're connected to is very slim. Let's see what everybody's saying down here. Yeah, Tammy says, do not use your credit card. Of course not. Everybody's talking in there. Murder Hornet's here. What's up, Murder Hornet? But, yeah, I was telling them, any kind of connection. Any kind of connection, they'll get you.
Yeah, I mean, eventually they'll get around to you.
Yeah.
It might take a while.
Yeah.
But
And chances are you're going to tell on yourself.
yeah.
You're going to tell on yourself. They're going to get you. They're going to start fucking grilling you. You know, and fucking, you're going to give up a bunch of information that conflicts with stuff that they already know. And they go, this motherfucker's lying. And they start fucking homing in on you.
You know what kills me is that, like I said, I watch a lot of true crime shows.
Yeah.
And so, like, a dude will do something. And then, like, that one that we were watching the other day about that dude that worked at that restaurant and, like, walked down the street and, like, killed that girl, like, in a horrible way. And he worked with the girl's boyfriend and the boyfriend's brother.
Yeah.
And he just decided to go...
Steal that girl's
He was trying to steal her panties, is what he was trying to do.
Weird.
But I don't remember what state it was. I think it was Tennessee or Oklahoma or somewhere like that. But somewhere in the Midwest or South. And he didn't realize, I guess, that the story that he told, he's like, oh yeah, I did this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, bitch, they have cameras everywhere. Like, your ass is clear as day walking to the dumpster behind the restaurant and putting this bag in there that they found later that had that girl's panties and cell phone and all this other shit in it. And it's just like, do you not realize that you're on camera, like, when you're in a public parking lot, like of a restaurant parking lot and stuff like that? They have cameras fucking everywhere. So it's like, I'm not really entirely sure why people think they're gonna get away with stuff. And especially, I love too, like, when they try and go, like, rob, like, take somebody's ATM card and, like, take money out of their ATM. It's like, you know that ATMs have cameras and they can see your fucking face, right? I mean, at least a couple of them had the sense to, like, put a mask over their face to do that so they couldn't identify you. But, like, some of the people don't even do that. And I'm just like, if somebody got murdered and they see you on an ATM camera, like, using that murdered person's ATM card, then they're gonna fucking find you.
You talking about the guy that put the panty raid?
Well, that was what I was talking about before.
Yeah. What was funny about the dude that was on the panty raid is that he went in there to go get those panties, but she was in there. He didn't know.
Yeah.
So it startled him.
It was his co-worker's girlfriend.
Co-worker's girlfriend. It was some Central American guys, and they had a white girlfriend, and dude fucking loved her, you know, big time. And the co-worker wanted her panties. So he broke, I don't know if did he actually break in or did he just open up the door and go
I'm
in?
not really sure. They said they weren't real sure.
He entered the dwelling.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't locked. I don't know.
Yeah, thinking that nobody'd be there. But she was there. And when she caught him, he started beating her up with an iron. And then he grabbed a knife and fucking stabbed her so many times, broke it off in her face and everything, killed her.
Yeah.
And he got fucking the death penalty.
Yeah.
For it.
I mean, just stupid.
All he had to do was say, "Oh, I left something behind," or "Yeah, I was trying to steal your panties as a joke." He still would have done time had she gone to the police. But then once he got into the system, he could have said, "Yeah, I got this problem. I got this fetish, and he wouldn't have done much time.
No, not for that.
No,
that's like petty theft.
Yeah,
well, breaking and entering.
But did he break or did he just enter?
I'm not really sure, actually. I don't think they said.
And for a first offender, he probably wouldn't have got much, especially if he started pleading. I have this fucking weird problem I need help with.
You know what I mean?
He was a young guy, he wouldn't have done 6 months. I don't think over that. I couldn't control myself. And they would have sent him to some sex offender fucking or fucking sex addiction fucking program or something. He could have fucking cried his way out of that.
Panty Lovers Anonymous.
Instead, he killed the fucking girl, denied her the rest of her life.
In a horrible way.
Yeah, a horrible way, yeah. And then he does life. That's why I was saying a lot of these dudes that kill people, they didn't have to.
Yeah.
That's
what's so dumb about it.
It's emotion.
That's what's so dumb about it. They just get so fucking bent out of shape.
He was embarrassed.
They got caught.
He was embarrassed that he got caught.
That they will kill a whole ass innocent person.
Yeah.
just because he was trying to steal a couple panties and somebody was there that they didn't expect.
And
to
they
be
know
there.
he was after panties because they found her panties underneath his bed.
Yeah, like under his mattress.
Yeah, so he'd stolen them. He killed her and stole some. And he found.
And then he put them in the garbage bag with her cell phone and put it in the dumpster behind the restaurant where he worked. And where that girl's boyfriend and the boyfriend's brother worked.
They all worked together. Well,
they were like flabbergasted.
Yeah.
Like the boyfriend and the brother were like when they found out about it.
Yeah.
They were just like heartbroken.
They were from Nicaragua or something, weren't they?
I don't
Salvador?
know. I don't think they said where they were from.
They were definitely Central American.
But
Central American guys.
Yeah, that was a terrible story. I'm just like,
yeah.
But dude was on camera.
Yeah.
Putting the shit in a dumpster. Because they found that they actually tracked her cell phone. That was how they found the shit. Yeah. And they found the bag and it's like, oh, well, gosh, there's her cell phone and there's a bunch of her
panties. And that girl was still in high school. She was only 18.
Yeah,
she was living with him, but she was
a senior, yeah.
Yeah, she was a senior, but she was living with him and fucking going to high school. They were kind of taking care of her.
Yeah.
It was a dude and his brother.
Yeah, they worked at a couple different restaurants.
Yeah, and they loved that girl. They were, They thought she was great.
Man, they had the brother on there. He was just like...
Yeah, he was crying over the brother was crying over. He couldn't believe... Because he found the body.
Yeah. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And and at first they thought either him or his brother had done it. And, they're like, we would never do that, but...
finally figured out it was a dude that they worked with.
Yeah, it was just a dude they worked with, and they just couldn't believe it.
Yep.
It's like they knew him. I don't know how long they'd known him, but they just thought that was so fucking weird. Like, he pretended that he was going and picking up somebody...
Yeah.
To pick him up for work or something, and then he just went there.
Yeah.
And did that.
Wow, shit.
It took him a while, but they caught him. But like I said, he was on fucking camera. I don't understand why people don't. You're on fucking camera. Just assume that you're on fucking camera. They're going to find you. And if you search shit online, even if you're in incognito mode, if you search stuff like, how much, poison does it take to kill a 200-pound man or something like that, it's like they're going to find that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're planning shit over your text messages or something like that, they're gonna find that too. Like
I've asked so many.
They can find that too.
I've asked so many fucking oddball questions to my shit, man. I don't know what they fucking think of me. Yeah, you researching for the fucking show,
researching shit for the show, and like writing about true crime and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's like I'm sure I'm on some list. Somewhere.
Yeah. I don't care though. I'm old.
I don't. Yeah.
There's not much they can do to me.
Well, I don't really care either, and it's just like, look, I don't have anything. I don't think I've never, as far as I know, I've never committed any kind of significant crime in my life other than maybe speeding or something. But it's just like, or jaywalking. I don't think I've done anything any worse than that. Maybe like some drugs here or there, but it's just nothing. So it's like look into my history. I haven't done a single goddamn thing. So look away, just wasting your time. But yeah, so they say 3 months in this. They went on shopping trips, and Tammy's saying, don't use your credit card. That's another rookie mistake. If you're buying murder kit stuff, hey, I went to Home Depot and I bought a bunch of rope and a tire iron and like all duct tape, like all this other kind of shit, and then they put it on their credit card. Yeah. And then like later on somebody turns up murdered with this particular rope and this particular duct tape, and they're like,
by the way,
receipt.
Please like, share, subscribe, and super chats are active.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. It's just kind of like, I don't know what you think you're getting away with.
Yeah.
Like I said, it might take them a while to find you, but they'll eventually find you, especially nowadays.
I couldn't sleep at night if I had some bodies out there I was worried about.
I don't understand how people can.
Well, some of them are just
like shit. I lay awake at night just worrying about stupid shit.
Yeah.
That's like not even illegal.
Well, some of them are like have main character syndrome so much that they think, oh, they'll never catch me. I'm too smart.
I think a lot of them think that, unfortunately. Yeah. And I'm just like, you're not nearly as smart as you think you are.
I would say the smartest, most skilled serial killer was D'Angelo, the original Night Stalker. He was law enforcement, military trained. He was the fucking commando of serial killers. And they caught him, eventually.
It took a long time.
Something that he never even dreamt of, which is that fucking DNA...
That
genealogy stuff. One of his fucking relatives went to get a genealogy done through,
Yeah, like online or whatever.
Online, and fucking all of a sudden they go, oh, bing! Your uncle killed somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or somebody related to you. I'm not really sure if they can... I don't think they can track it down exactly like, oh, it's your uncle, but they know that it's somebody that's... of generation. Like, they know what generation it is, but they're related.
They can figure out. They can isolate you.
Yeah.
In that family tree.
Yeah. They know, like, pretty much who you are. Like, once they got that going.
Yeah.
I noticed, like I said, that they started solving a lot more cold cases because they were getting more hits. Because the more people, like, upload their DNA to, you know, Ancestry.com or, you know, or GED Match or whatever it is, it's just kind of like, that's going to eventually...
Yeah, and D'Angelo himself didn't have to do it. His people in his family did it.
Yeah.
And that's how it got it.
And then it came up, it's like, oh, this is similar.
And he was doing all this shit in the 70s and the 80s. He could have never dreamt of any kind of technology.
He probably thought, because he was an old
man when they caught
fat fucker, and it's like, he probably just thought
He pretty much got away with it. He was an old man by the time they got him.
That's kind of the sad... I'm glad they got him. I never thought they would. But it's kind of sad that he got away with it for so long.
Yeah.
And he was just out...
Pretty heinous fucking crimes.
Being a shithead for
attacking
decades.
Attacking couples.
Yeah.
Sexually assaulting the woman with the guy right outside. Says, if I put plates on his head, if I hear those things fall, I'm going to kill her.
Yeah.
He meant it, too. He would have done it.
Well, he did.
Yeah, he ended up killing him anyways.
Yeah. So, but that was the thing. Yeah, so these idiots, so they did, like I said, they did try to make an effort. You know, they watched their CSI, and they were trying to, like, get away with it for a long time. They also, apparently they made, like, a silencer. They made one of those, and that was used in the shootings. And the two brothers, George and Jake, they even, like, dyed their hair.
Yeah.
Like, coming up to them so that people wouldn't recognize them, like, from far away or shit like that. So they were trying to, like, think of all the angles, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I said, this was a very calculated...
Like a commando raid.
Yeah, like, they thought about this for years. And it's... How weird is that? Like, to think about this family, like, parents and their two sons. Like, the sons, they're grown, you know what I mean? They're, like, you know, in their 20s.
Pookie, stop it. She's tearing up the shit.
Stop it, Pookie.
Stop tearing up the library.
But think about, they're just at the fucking dinner table in the trailer or whatever, eating spam or whatever the fuck they're eating. Something from Hormel, I imagine. And
make fun of spam all you want. I love spam.
I know you do. Eating some Vienna sausages right out of the can.
I don't like those that much.
Like my dad used to, dipping them in mustard. I don't even know if they make those anymore.
They make them.
Yeah.
They got them at the dollar store.
Well, somebody's buying them then.
Yeah.
So how can they stay
redneck protein?
How can they stay in business? I don't know. Is it even protein? It's probably mostly,
there's protein.
It's probably mostly soy.
Mostly fat. No.
But it's all the runoff.
Yeah.
In a sausage.
It's
casing.
mostly fat. Fat. And
but so they're sitting around the table with the the vinyl tablecloth on there or whatever, and they're like, okay, we're gonna wipe out this whole family, and they're doing like they're laying it out. They probably had like paper and they're like drawing diagrams. Okay, now we're gonna come in here and we're gonna do this and we're gonna hack into their emails and all this stuff. Like I said, it was like fucking Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible or some shit like that. That is crazy for me to think about. It's like redneck Mission Impossible is exactly what this is. That blows my mind that they just like sat around and it because like I said, it's scary enough when like one person does some crazy shit like this, but when a whole family, when you can get like 4, 5, 6 people to go, yeah, that seems like a good idea. Let's do that.
That whole family's a bunch of psychos. I'm telling you, it's genetic.
I mean, nobody in the family was like, bro, what?
It's fucking genetic.
No, don't do that. Nobody said that, evidently. Or if they did, they didn't listen. Oh, fuck that. We're just going to do it anyways. Yeah, so they're doing this for, like I said, and they had months and months to perhaps be like, maybe this is dumb. Maybe we shouldn't do this. We're going to get in trouble. But yeah, so they did eventually get caught. Now, Jake said that he was the one that fired the first shots, but that it was his dad who actually killed, because I think the first one, I think they shot through the door, is what I think they did. And then, like, later, because I think one of them, I think Christopher Rhoden Sr., the dad, I think he was shot through the door. But then the other ones were, like, all shot in their bed. But his dad, Billy, he said that he was the one that killed the first person. Even though Jake said that he was the one that fired the first shots, he said. Like I said, I don't know if you can really take any of these people's word as law. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Rita Newcomb, who was one of the mothers-in-law. She actually she got like a little bit of time for obstructing official business because she was, you know, lying about it and stuff. Like, she knew about it. She wasn't there, but you know what I mean. She agreed to cooperate if they would drop some of the charges. So they did actually drop the forgery charges, like about the, you know, because they knew she'd done the custody papers and all that. And they dropped perjury, and they dropped obstruction of justice. And she just got 5 years of adult supervision.
Damn.
Which, what does that mean? Like, she has like a babysitter. Is that like house arrest?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you have like a babysitter come over and be like, still in there? Okay, good. You want me to like make you some mac and cheese? You know, adult supervision. So she got that. She also got a $758 fine. Why $758? I don't know, but that's what the fine was. And if she does shit she's not supposed to do, then they're gonna put her in jail, but only for like 3 months or something.
Fucking murder hornets in there asking, is there deviled ham in the UK?
Mm.
I'll tell you one thing, man. I once tried to microwave some deviled ham in a can.
Ew, why would
or
you
was it
do
in a
that?
can? I wanted to see if it, you know, I wanted to cook it, to heat it up.
I just wanted to cook it.
I came back and it was nothing but just clear fat with a couple red dots in it.
Yeah, what did you think was in that?
Yeah, I was like, there's no meat in
there's
there.
no meat in
There's no meat in that. It's all fat.
Why do you think Southerners are all so fat?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't heat up. Yeah.
It just melts.
It just melts. It just turns into fucking clear fucking fat. Yeah.
Fat stew
Fat stew.
with a little
A couple little things of
bits
meat
floating
floating in it. Yeah, it's just like, that's amazing.
gourmet.
Yeah. Potted meat does that too.
I never liked that shit.
Put it on crackers.
I mean, I ate some pretty gross shit growing up,
Yeah.
I admit. Like I said, it was what was around. I grew up in the South, but
Yeah.
like even like Vienna sausages, Spam, like any of that kind
Yeah.
of canned meat, I drew hard. I was like hard pass.
I love Spam, especially flavored Spam. And it's good meat. That's pork shoulder.
Yeah.
It's just cooked in the can. The problem with it is that regular Spam is too fucking salty. And you got to slice it thin and fry it and make it on sandwiches or with eggs and shit. It's good. But they got new flavors of it. They even have some turkey Spam that's pretty good.
It's just so salty.
Not anymore. You get the low sodium.
I mean, you'd have to get the low sodium one.
Get the
And
low
even
sodium.
then, I don't love
They got
it.
fucking Mexican flavors. They got chorizo flavored Spam. It's good.
We got some before. It's
good.
pretty good if you fry it with eggs.
Yeah.
Like, and put it in scrambled eggs. But
Yeah.
I would still just rather have just regular
Or
ham.
you have it with scrambled eggs and corned beef hash.
Yeah.
Make a breakfast sandwich out of it.
Yeah, Murder Hornet says, do they have deviled ham in the UK?
That's
So
what I said,
he said
yeah.
it's like cat food, but good on crackers.
Yeah, it's good on you just eat the crackers, yeah. Saltine crackers. Real redneck
Mega
shit.
says, pretty sure we don't. We have corned
My
beef
dad would get
and Spam.
fancy and
They
put
have Spam.
fucking Tabasco Crystal. Fuck Tabasco, too expensive. You get Crystal. Louisiana sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad he was fucking super redneck. He'd eat pickled pig's feet and shit. Go down there and give me some of them pickled pig's feet.
Yeah, my grandma used to get this
Yeah,
from
he
the
was sitting there
convenience
eating
store
that
next
fucking
door.
thing. Man, it's sour as shit.
Because there was
Piece
two
of
big jars. There was the
Yeah,
big jar
yeah.
of pickles pig feet and the big jar of
pickled
pickled
eggs. Yeah, give me some. Yeah,
Like,
they
on
could be
the
red
counter
and shit.
at
Yeah,
the 7-Eleven.
red eggs
It
or
was a
red
redneck
pig's
7-Eleven.
foot.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
Every now and then my grandma would go over there. and
Fucking
get one.
ridiculous.
Get some of them and get some of the Little Debbie's.
Yeah, and a thing of Bluebell ice cream.
Yeah.
Give me a Bluebell ice cream. Or I want that Rocky Road. Give me pig's feet, and I want 3 of them deviled eggs. I want 3 of them fucking pickled eggs. Okay, all right.
I don't think I've ever. I love eggs, but I don't think I've ever eaten a pickled egg.
Yeah, that's the one's next to the.
No, I
pickled pig.
know.
They're sour.
I don't think I've ever eaten one.
Sour
Like, I love
as shit.
pickles,
It's just a hard-boiled egg. It's sour as hell.
but I don't know if I would like that.
You wouldn't like it.
I doubt it.
No, it wasn't pleasant. I tried it, and I go, man, it's sour as fuck. He goes, yeah.
Well, his mouth is puckering
Yeah.
up.
That's my dad's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it's sour. It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Give me that Pepsi. You can take RC Cola and empty a whole thing of fucking salted peanuts, a little bag of salted peanuts. You put that in the RC Cola. So what are you doing? Oh, I'm eating this since I was a kid.
Peanuts in RC Cola.
Yeah, salted peanuts inside RC Cola or Coca-Cola. But if you're real redneck, it's RC. It's because it's cheaper.
Yeah. They still make RC.
Still
too.
make RC Cola.
We get it every now and then because they have it out the dollar
Yeah, you
store.
get sick of it though. It's just sweet.
It is.
It doesn't have much of a cola flavor to it. It's
I'm
just
not
sweet.
a big soda person.
Yeah,
like
I love
said.
it. I love
I
soda.
like. If I'm gonna drink soda, I would rather clear soda. Or I like
Yeah.
root beer, but it's just kind of like I would rather have like Sprite or 7-Up.
Coca-Cola throwback or Mexican Coca-Cola, which is
That is much
cane with cane sugar. It's a lot better than the regular American cola. Because American cola isn't cane sugar, not anymore. It's fucking corn syrup. This shit'll make you fat as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cane sugar shit, fucking, you don't get as much weight on it.
Yeah, Murderhorn said, I heard Hawaii spam is so popular they sell spam on the black market. Yeah, I mean, spam is like a huge part of the diet in Hawaii.
All the islands are like that.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have beef and meat at fucking, you know, the prices are very high. Because all that shit's imported. But you can get lobster cheap. I don't remember which island it was. Might have been Micronesia. Some of the guys I was in the army with, it was either Micronesia or Samoa. They gave out lobster tails free at the bar. They just hand them out in a big bowl.
Oh my god, how fucking
Big bowl
awesome
of
would that
lobster
be?
tails sitting there.
I would love to be at the bar drinking and
Yeah.
then like just hand me a fucking free
Yeah,
lobster tail.
and they would just dip it in fucking popcorn butter.
Man, I'll eat
Imitation
it like
popcorn
Daryl
butter.
Hannah and Splash,
Yeah.
man. I'll
Yeah.
just be like,
Yeah. So fish would be cheap, but anything that was like pork or beef was expensive. If you live on an island.
funny. Well, yeah, because they're surrounded by.
Yeah.
They're like, what? Look, they're everywhere.
You can't raise cattle and pigs there. There's not enough room.
I mean, that's okay with me. I
Yeah.
could eat seafood every day. I don't mind.
Yeah, I can eat it. Some of it.
I don't mind.
Shellfish.
I love seafood.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, she got off pretty light. However, Jake actually kind of threw the whole thing for a loop in August of 2021, which was 5 years after the murder happened, because he pled guilty. And he pled guilty to 8 counts of aggravated murder, felony conspiracy, 4 counts of aggravated burglary. Not really sure what that was about. Unlawful possession of dangerous ordnance, tampering with evidence, forgery, unauthorized use of property, interception of wire. I guess that was because of all the phone jamming and email hacking they were doing. Engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity. I'm like, what? They have some weird fucking...
Yeah.
What does that mean? If you're from Ohio...
Being
like,
shifty.
What does that mean? I was like, wow, I didn't know they could arrest you for just being shifty.
Yeah, being shifty. Doing shifty shit.
Doing shifty shit.
Yeah.
That's what... It sounds like one of those bullshit charges that
Yeah.
they're just like, we're just going to stack that on top of all
Yeah.
the other stuff
Yeah.
like to give you more time.
Give you more charge.
Because you just like looked suspicious and we didn't like it.
You're doing activities we don't like.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You killed that person, you raped this one, you fucking stole this, you burned this down, and you're doing things we don't like. That's the second charge. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's the last charge. Yeah, okay. All
Look
right.
at you looking all bad.
Yeah. Look at you being all shifty.
Look at you being
That's a charge.
I tell Pookie she looks shifty all the time.
Yeah, she looks guilty whenever you catch her fucking sniffing on those damn fucking catnip fucking pillows. You call
They're
them
not-
minties. Oh, they're mint.
They're mint. They're not
They're
catnip.
mint pill-
But
yeah.
catnip and mint are in the same
But,
family.
yeah.
Man, she loves those. Well, I kind of feel like Pookie looks like guilty
She looked guilty.
whatever she's doing.
Yeah.
Like if you are walking down the hall and she's just doing something that a cat would do, she looks at you like, like she got caught. Oh my god, I got caught using the litter box. I'm like, honey, it's okay. That's what it's for. You know what I mean? But she looks like she's not supposed to be doing it and she's in trouble. I don't really know why she's like that. But I was like, man, you look so shifty. She looks like a little criminal. But it's just like, it's just super funny. But yeah. So he pled guilty to all of that. Also unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. So they did retroactively like get him for that because they're like, yeah, like you started dating this girl when she was, because I think he was 17 or 18 when he first started dating Hannah, one of the victims, and she was 13. But then when she had the kid, she was 15 and he was 20. And I'm not really sure. Like, they broke up after that, but I don't really know how long it was, like, after that. It wasn't a hugely long time. But, so they did charge him for that as well. Now, because he pled guilty, and I guess this was part of the plea agreement or whatever, they said if you plead guilty, then we won't seek the death penalty for him or for any of the other family members that participated, like his brother and his mom and dad. So, as part of this whole plea deal to get out of the death penalty, he agreed that he would cooperate with the prosecutors and that he would testify against his brother and his parents. And he also had to admit that he had shot 5 of the 8 people. He said his dad did the other ones. So he actually ended up getting 8 consecutive life sentences. But he does have the possibility of parole after 32 years. Will he get out? Probably not. Now, Angela, who was the mom, she also pled guilty. She wasn't there, so she actually pled guilty to conspiracy, aggravated burglary, tampering with evidence, and other stuff like that. Like I said, it was a whole plea deal with the whole family. She got 30 years, so that was the mom. And the brother, actually, he actually ended up getting 8 consecutive life terms plus 121 years. So I guess he was the one that did the shooting, the brother, not the dad. But yeah, so
did they ever say how they did it in terms of who had what gun and how they ran in? And how
I'm not really sure how. Because the thing about it, they're like, look, you all knew about it.
Yeah.
And they all helped plan it, so they were all culpable.
Yeah.
So I guess Jake said that he did 5 of the shootings. And
what did he use? Did he say?
No, I didn't see that.
I just want to know who had what.
But I think his brother and his dad were there, and I think that they did some of the shootings too. But like I said, you can't really believe anything they say, and it was a whole plea agreement. Right. The only reason they took a plea agreement was just to get out of the death penalty, but they're all going to be in jail like pretty much the rest of their lives, I would imagine. I don't know, like the mom got the least, she got 30 years, but I don't know how old she is. I'm sure she'll probably die in prison. And she wasn't even there. She just like knew about it. Because they, like I said, they have her on video at Walmart like buying the shoes and like buying stuff for the raid.
Yeah.
And so obviously she knew, but even though she tried to play dumb, but they're like, bitch, look, it's like we have the receipt and everything. It's like, who are you trying to kid? But just like listening to her trying to like justify. And I love the story that she bought those shoes and then she showed them to the boys and then they didn't like them because they were old man shoes, so she threw them away. Brand new shoes. And they're like, a likely story. Well, they just bought them because they didn't want any of their shoes. So they were at least cognizant enough to know that they can obviously match your shoe print to shoes that you own.
Right.
So it's like, so he's like, well, she's like, I'm just going to buy brand new shoes. You wear them and do the thing and then throw them away. And then if they come looking at your shoes, they're not going to find them. You know what I mean? So they were at least bright enough to think of that. But they weren't bright enough to think that they would very clearly be on camera purchasing the shoes and that there would be a record of them purchasing the shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because the thing about it, I think one of the victims had the same pair of shoes that had been bought from Walmart, but his were like all worn. And they're like, and obviously these ones were brand new.
Yeah.
So they knew that something was mysterious was afoot. But like I said, they all did eventually plead guilty, plea deal. So there wasn't really like a big trial or anything like that. But man, what the fuck were they thinking?
They weren't.
Were they thinking? No.
Well, they were thinking they were thinking that they were the main character and they'd never get caught. That they were smarter than everybody else.
That really
trying to get that girl away from that other family. She'd have been grown before they know it anyway. It wouldn't have mattered. You know what I mean?
I mean,
by the time she's 14, 15, she might want to leave them if it was bad. You know, just bullshit.
Here's the thing. It's just like, look, if you wanted to see the kid so bad, why don't you, one, not be a controlling asshole who beats on the mother of your child?
Yeah.
And then maybe she would come over every now and then and let you see the kid.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, in these kind of situations, I feel like they don't actually want the kid.
It's a power play.
They it's just a power move.
Yeah.
Is all it is. They just want control. They don't like someone else
saying no
to them or something that they I think a lot of times, like I said, you know how there's sometimes these custody disputes and like people like freak out about that kind of stuff. Like I said, I think most of the time the one that's making the biggest stink about it doesn't even want the kid. They just want to hurt the other person.
They're just fighting over
and
something.
they know that that's the best way to do it. It's just kind of like, I'm going to take your kids away.
Got a super chat.
Thank you very much for
is
the
it?
super chat. Papa77.
Papa77.
You guys should do a live stream on Robert Lee Yates. He's a serial killer in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
I know that name. I will look that up and see if we've done that. I don't think we have. It might be on the list, but I'll check. Because I have a huge list of like stuff that's been recommended over the years, but I will write it down and I will put that there.
Yeah,
but,
and then what we do is our patrons, actually, we put stuff up there and they vote on stuff.
Well, I do it for YouTube members also.
Okay,
So I
yeah.
usually put it up on and if you're a member like on YouTube, if you don't see it, it's on the community tab.
Yeah.
And the poll always goes up on Friday mornings, like at 10 in the morning at EST, and it goes up on Patreon also.
How many choices do you give them to
4.
4 choices. Okay.
Used to be 5, but YouTube now only lets you have 4 choices, so
Okay.
I do 4 choices now.
Right.
Which is whatever.
Right. So something like that, we'll get to it eventually. If, you know what I mean? We'll have it up there.
Yeah, I usually have this big long list, and then like
Yeah.
I just try to rotate them out to see which ones win. And like after a while, like if I put one in the poll like a bunch of times and it never gets any votes or it never wins, then I usually I don't take it off, but I usually put it like low down on the priority list.
And if something's really good, we'll just fucking do it, too.
Yeah, like if
You know,
something's kind of
Yeah, we're just gonna do it. Yeah, depends on what it is. Like if it's something that's relevant to something that's happened soon, we're gonna the next week
Right.
we're gonna do one on that. Something that's more like, what do you call it? Time relevant, or what's a good way to put it?
topical.
Topical. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that sometimes.
Because I think we did that when that fucking Lisk motherfucker got
Yeah.
caught, the Long Island serial killer.
Yeah.
I think we did an update on that
Yeah. We also did one on D'Angelo
when he got caught.
when he got caught.
Because we had done a show about him before, like before
Yeah.
he got caught, before anybody knew who he was.
Yeah.
Phantom says more paranormal cases would be cool to see.
Okay,
I
yeah.
probably should do more of those. It's just it just seems like we've done most of the
Really
big ones, and it's like most of the other ones are kind of lame. But I'll kind of like look and see if there's any good ones that we haven't covered. 'Cause
I
know
actually like good UFO stuff. Jed's not really into that shit, but I always wanted to do like a really good one on the Phoenix Lights.
we didn't do a Phoenix Lights show.
I don't think we ever did.
I thought we did a Phoenix Lights show. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But I mean, I'll look back and see. But it's like
Because I think that was something that actually
I
happened.
could have sworn we did a Phoenix.
Too
Lights
many
show,
witnesses.
but I could be wrong.
I think
Like
we
said,
mentioned it.
we've done so many shows
Yeah.
that it's just kind of like I can't remember. And I know we've talked about different
Yeah.
topics at different times, so it's like sometimes I get confused. It's like, wait, did we do a
Yeah.
show about that or? Because it came up last week where I put in the poll Charles Starkweather, and somebody
Yeah.
said you already did a show about that, and I was like, did we?
I think we did a Starkweather show.
I don't think we did a whole show about him. I think he might have been on one of the Killer Couples shows now that
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it.
something
So
like
maybe
that.
that's why I couldn't find it.
Right.
Because I looked and it's like I didn't see a show about it. But like we did do like for Valentine's Day, we usually used to do like Killer Couples
The
shows.
thing is, we have so many shows. Doing a repeat doesn't matter.
Yeah, honestly.
It doesn't really matter.
Probably not.
Because we got someone back there we forgot about.
Yeah.
So it's just another show. We can do it a different way. Maybe more information comes out, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if something new
This
comes
is our
out,
show. If we want to do it, we should just do it.
That's true.
There's a lot of good topics.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
these
we'll
are
never
good
run
suggestions.
out.
Everything, right? Yeah.
We'll never run out. It's like even just true crime topics. Like I'm
Yeah.
coming across new fucking serial killers like all the time,
Yeah.
which is terrifying. And new fucking murders. And like I said, I'll be watching like true crime shows and stuff like that, and every now and then there'll be some weird ass case on there that I never heard of, and I'm like, holy crap, that would make a great show. And I mean, it's a big country, so it's just kind of like
Yeah.
a lot that kind of shit happens all the time, and you don't necessarily hear about it because it doesn't make national news. But I saw one the other day about this weird fucking kidnapping in some rural backwater somewhere that was fucking crazy, and I was like, man, we should do a fucking show about that. I think I put it in the poll. Did I put it in the poll this week or next week? I don't remember. But I put it in one of the polls. But I definitely want to do a show about it one of these days because I was like, that was like one of the only times that I watched a true crime show. And when they said who the killer was, I actually gasped because I had no fucking, I did not see that coming at all. Like when they said, oh, it was this guy. I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, it was just like, it just blew my fucking mind. I didn't, because usually I suspect, oh, it's probably that motherfucker.
Right.
And a lot of times I'm right. But that time, he wasn't even on the fucking radar. And I was just like, holy crap, where did that come from? But yeah. So, yeah, Phantom says the witch prison haunted house in England, aka the Cage, would make a great paranormal show topic. Yeah, I know we haven't done a show about that, so I wrote that down too. So I'll put that in the next thing. Yeah, Tammy's talking about how they should... Yeah, Tammy said should have driven far away to do the shopping. Yeah, I kind of feel like if you're gonna buy stuff for a crime, like for a mass murder, 1, use cash. 2, don't shop in the town where you live.
Yeah. 3, don't buy it all at the same store on the same fucking purchase.
Yeah, I mean that looks a little fishy.
Yeah.
You would even think like the person that was like even unless you went through the self checkout, but even so. Man, if you're gonna do that, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm just saying, if you
go
were
in that store, you're gonna get a mask, and the gloves, and the knife, and the handcuffs.
And a shovel,
and the shovel,
and the duct tape,
and the duct tape. People are gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
And a hacksaw. If you go through one of the lines with a cashier, they're gonna be like, I'm calling the police."
Yeah.
I mean. It kind of makes me, if I had the money, I would do this, but I don't. But it's just like, it would just be super funny to just like go and buy all these things.
Yeah.
And just like...
Yeah, it's funny.
Just like act totally normal. See if they say anything.
See if they notice it.
It's just like buy like the stereotypical like murder kit, and you're just like, what? I'm just, doing some stuff, hanging out.
You want a sandwich?
Yeah.
Either that or nachos.
I think a sandwich sounds better.
We make a sandwich. All right.
Yeah, we're not going to get a sandwich. We got sandwich stuff here.
You got stuff to make here.
Because I'm just like, we don't need to go down and spend the money. We got sandwich stuff here.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, yeah, I guess we're going to shut it down and go get a sandwich. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show this evening. We enjoyed hanging out with you guys, as we always do. Please remember to come by Friday night for the Sidetrack show, where we can just get drunk and talk about all kind of bullshit. It'll be super fun. Like I said, we're not going out Friday night, so we can hang out most of the evening because we don't have to go anyplace. So I always kind of like that. It's less stressful because I know I'm in for the evening and I don't have to go anywhere. You know what I mean? So yeah. Again, thank you for hanging out with us. We will see you guys again on Friday night. Good night.